Higher Density Living. How are you today?
Jason, I got a suit jacket on.
I know, I saw that. You're barefoot.
I'm barefoot.
Why do you like to be barefoot so much?
I just something. It makes me feel very grounded. I feel like I don't. People are like, "You're a goddamn tree hugger." You know what I mean? But
Right.
there's something that just feels right about me being in bare feet. I love feeling the textures of the earth underneath me. The changes in temperature. I want to sense the world as much as possible. And I'm always walking around, but it's difficult to connect with that earth that I came from underneath me. So
suit jacket and barefoot is like your go-to.
That's my go-to.
Yeah, you're with your star seed or whatever.
Yeah, well, I got the Arcturian shirt on.
the
Sacred geometry.
Yeah.
Metatron's cube.
Yes.
That's
where we're
about
at.
30 episodes later once people get moderately comfortable with us.
And we are in the deep, dark recesses of 99.9 The Beat. We are in the cavern, the lava-filled.
It's a lava tube.
What are those when you go down deep, the big crystals? That
Stalactites and stuff like that?
Yes, that's what we have all around us. We're surrounded by that.
Oh, yeah.
And they're vibrating at old school hip-hop music.
That's
you
exactly
can feel them.
right.
It's just vroom, vroom, vroom. The bass.
Oh, my God. We got a lot of funk going on in here.
Yes, yeah, we have, which he's here.
Byron is here, yeah.
Yeah, Byron is here with his family, hanging out, being patient with us.
Just absolutely very generous man to let us intrude on his life
and
to record in his studio.
Yeah, his studio here at the
so
radio station.
We can share this journey, this information with people all over the world.
And we had talked about him before, but he owns a barbecue place.
Yeah. So
an African American, old school
hip hop, R&B, and he's a barbecue pit boss for the past like 45 plus years.
Yes.
And we have two plant-based 6 foot plus white males.
Yes.
Standing here talking about.
He always asks us questions and loves it
constantly.
Yeah.
And he's open to it.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. He's open. That's funny.
And you know what was funny? Okay, let's talk about him for a second. He doesn't know we're talking about him.
No.
He comes in and he's like, guys, I had some like weird like synchronicities going on.
I wonder if he's been listening to our podcast.
You know he has. He like
on the down low.
He raps on us for it, but at night he's got those headphones in,
yeah.
And he's laying in bed and he's like, "Oh, I kind of like this."
That's funny. But yeah, we are in the dark studios with the lighting that we got going on.
Yeah.
What lighting did you choose this time?
We got everything. We have all
The
colors
spectrums?
going on. Yeah, we got the full spectrum of color, right? So we're in the darkness, right? We're in the
because it's pretty dark now. Because it's like he's got a big skylight in here and it's getting dark outside.
This is our metaphorical death right now
Yes.
because we're talking about reincarnation again, right? This week we're going to
That's
talk.
the suit jacket.
We're going to talk about studies, right? Thus, the suit jacket is required because we're talking about reincarnation. You know, shit's serious.
For those that are skeptical, and we want skeptics to listen to us.
Love skeptics.
And we want you to ask questions. As a
yes.
skeptic. For those that do not believe in reincarnation,
yeah,
we love you.
Yes, we do. We do not think of you any differently.
Yeah.
Any lesser?
Yes,
None
exactly. And that's what we want. We want our audience to have so much diversity.
Oh,
Whether you're a Christian, whether you're an atheist,
yes.
whether you are in Germany listening through Deezer, or whether you're in Afghanistan, we want each of you to understand that every single one of us is one.
Yeah.
That there's no hierarchy.
No. That this is a non-dogmatic journey of self-discovery. That's
of
as simple
walking
as this.
that cliff's edge.
Walking that cliff's edge and trying to see that unseen world and being comfortable with stepping off the edge of that cliff.
You know, there was a weird synchronicity I had yesterday. I was in Dallas, Texas.
11/11?
Yeah, I had that. But the vice president of the company was up talking, and he goes, well, we just want to walk that cliff's edge.
That's what I'm talking
That's
about.
what he
You
said.
know he's been listening.
I was just like,
We got a listener.
yes.
We got a low-key Fortune 500 listener here.
Yes, exactly. I was like, this is awesome.
Now we're getting somewhere.
So today we're going to get into Dr. Ian Stevenson's reincarnation research.
Yes.
And this guy I want to kind of give you his stats, everyone, because I want people to understand this is not some pseudo scientist.
No, this is legit background, well received, a lot of medals on this guy. Show me the proof.
He was a psychiatrist he passed away in 2007. He was a psychiatrist who worked for the University of Virginia School of Medicine for 50 years. The Virginia School of Medicine.
Yeah.
He was chair of the Department of Psychiatry from 1957 to 67, the Carlson Professor of Psychiatry from 1967 to 2001.
What a
How
boss.
many years is that?
What a boss. So that's
67, 2001.
33, 34 years.
He was the Professor of Psychiatry, Carlson. He was research professor of psychiatry from 2002 until his death. He was also founder and director of the University of Virginia's Division of Perceptual Studies.
Ooh, we love talking about perception.
He was an investigator for parapsychological phenomena such as reincarnation, near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, after-death communications, deathbed visions, altered states of consciousness, and how do you say this?
Sigh.
We're going to talk about that. He became internationally recognized for his research into reincarnation by discovering evidence.
Ooh, people love evidence. Proof.
Suggesting that memories and physical injuries can be transferred from one lifetime to another. He traveled extensively over a period of 40 years investigating 3,000 cases of children around the world who recalled having past lives.
3,000
cases.
That is a populace for study. Any statistician would be like, that's fantastic.
His meticulous research presented evidence that such children had unusual abilities, illness, phobias, and
Phileas.
which could not be explained by the environment or heredity.
Yeah,
So let's get into this. Let's start off with near-death experiences.
okay. So
And we had talked about this a few episodes back
yeah.
with the work from the book. We went through the book.
Oh, we were to which book did we look at?
When we got into out-of-body experiences.
Oh, OBEs when we
Russell Targ.
Russell Targ, right?
Yes.
So we were talking about consciousness, the limitless mind, right? So a near-death experience, right? So
And how does that correlate to reincarnation?
how does it correlate to reincarnation, right? Because that near-death experience is not fully passing this physical form. It's your leave it temporarily, and that you see that there's a higher form of the self in the astral world, that higher self, the non-egotistical, celestial, light-bodied form of who you are, right? Actually sits outside of that body, and these people recognize and see their physical form from a different perception of reality, right? From a different view. And then they snap back into it. Okay? So they're going to leave the physical for some time and come back in. How does
And
that
that's what happens in reincarnation.
How does it play into reincarnation? Well, this is like a brief one, right?
Right.
They didn't fully leave the physical vessel because they didn't totally die because it's near death, but they come back to it, right? And that's the crazy part. So in this near-death experience, he's done all these studies and he's found that these children that talk about these near-death experiences, that what has happened in these memories of what either happened in the past, they're carried forward into now, and they believe it as the wholesome truth, right? And I think we should dig into that a little bit, right? And so what do we have on here? What was Dr. Ian Stevenson saying
Well,
about
I
the
think
near-death?
and I want to kind of get into the first parts of his research. The Journal of the American Society for, I don't want to make sure I pronounce this word,
For what?
I don't know if you can see it on the screen.
Where is
there.
it?
So it's the Journal of the American
Oh,
Society.
Journal of the American Society of Psychical Research.
Yeah, psychical research. There we go.
Jeez.
Goodness gracious. He also was a co-founder of the Society for Scientific Exploration, and he authored 300 papers and wrote 14 books on the subject of reincarnation.
So there must be something there, Jason.
So, I mean, basically, he gave his
Dedicated his life to it. This one. Yeah.
to this for a reason. And he became a classic in the Annals of Reincarnation Research. In 2003, Dr. Stevenson published his second book of reincarnation called European Cases of the Reincarnation Type. And then in 1997, he published his major classic. Check this out, dude. No,
Nuts.
check this out.
This is badass.
2,268 pages.
He's like, we got multiple lives to read it. You know what I mean?
A 2-volume book, Reincarnation and Biology, a contribution to etiology of birthmarks and birth defects. So he got into this. This is with anomalies with children. And dude, you got me in such big biological words.
I know,
and
I'm
stuff
sorry.
today. This is not. I'm just your normal middle class Milwaukee.
So
best.
yeah, so what he's saying is that the marks that happen with his children could not be traced back to a genetic deformity, right, or something that happened during the pre-birth period when the child was in the womb, right? So nothing would have caused genetically a change in the child to have this sort of discrepancy in its physical body. So what is it that caused the child to have this discrepancy in its physical form after it's been birthed, right? And these children that had these deformities recalled where they received them in their past lives. So his mission, which he started off in Sri Lanka, he went out there,
Right.
was to go figure out, okay, let me talk to these children that have some idea or story about the past life and how they received this, whatever this
So that
ailment might be.
birthmark would be like maybe the way that life they were murdered.
How they murder, something like that.
Right.
And then he would go check the data of their story against a historical recorded account in fact, and find out of these 3,000 plus cases, all of these children who had no connection to something that happened a long time ago that was a recorded historical fact corroborate perfectly. How is that possible?
But I mean, all of us know we've dreamt of our past lives.
We all
We've
have.
had
We've
glimpses
all had a
of-
dream.
Of me being in, 1862, chilling being a farmer. I mean, I'm just making that
What's
up.
wrong with being a
but
farmer? There's nothing wrong with
could
being
have
a
been,
farmer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like farming.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like, growing peppers are my favorite.
Peppers are badass.
Yeah, because there's so many varieties of them.
High in
And they
vitamin
just
C.
grow, they just love. Have you ever
I've grown peppers.
you've grown peppers before?
Oh yeah.
That there's nothing like that smell.
Oh, when you go out to the garden and you're just
Mhm.
like, it's like the sweetness.
Yes.
Then you bite into it and the jalapenos just like ripping through your
Oh,
mouth, or the
yeah.
ghost pepper. You're like, I don't know why I'd say that. It smelled sweet, but I made a mistake.
But like fresh peppers on nachos, like
Oh,
fresh
dude.
jalapenos.
Stop.
Even pickled ones are amazing.
Oh, they're so good.
Mhm.
They are so
I
good.
will. I can throw down. The older I get, the more I'm like loving jalapenos. I don't know if there's maybe some like deficiency in me or whatever.
I don't know. Maybe it's like the fire, the energy that you want.
Yeah, maybe I was a jalapeno farmer back in the day.
That's cool.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
I don't care. That's
Maybe
badass.
I started the whole jalapeno craze on nachos because those are.
Maybe you did. Maybe that was your original thing.
So what? Okay, we're
Jalapenos.
digressing really quick.
yeah,
Yeah.
we are.
Vegan nachos. How would you make those?
Nut cheese, black
Okay.
beans,
Yes.
all my vegetable toppings that I want. And I'm not going to put sour cream on it, but I can put guac, so I'm not really missing out on anything. I just
Right.
make it all like that. Everything without the
So-
dairy product.
Everything but so that's how vegan nachos would be performed.
Yeah.
Bomb.
Dude, they're so
Amazing.
good. It's not.
You know what I got the other day at Costco was their organic tortilla chips, like
Ooh,
their brand, the
Did
Kirkland
you talk about the
Signature.
huge bag?
Yeah, dude, I don't know how I'm gonna be
my-
able to eat all those, but dude, those are bomb chips.
No, they're delicious.
I don't know how good they are for you.
It's
but
just
that they're
corn, man. It's just
organic,
pure
yeah,
fiber.
Yeah.
Just
So,
scraping your insides.
Question I'm having with my diet. We're gonna get into reincarnation here, but I've changed to be, pretty much plant based. This carb overload. Like the other day, I don't want to say cheated because I really didn't, but
Mm-hmm.
I had fries,
Okay.
and I had jalapenos and fries. This is amazing. No chili, no meat, none of that. And I've heard people talking about that, whether they're vegetarian, plant-based, vegan, whatever, that there's this craving of carbs. Which, I mean, you can have carbs. Carbohydrates is good for you. It provides energy.
Complex carbohydrates.
Yes. So what happens? Why am I craving carbs now?
Well, you craving like a simple carb?
Yeah, I think so. Not necessarily sugar. I'm not craving sugar at all. It's just that whole idea of like those corn-based tortillas or potatoes.
Oh,
You know.
so that's a simplified carb,
Yeah.
right? So it's something. It's not totally refined, but in forms of its simplicity, it's not complex, right? So you want that quick, easy energy, right? So what that is that's dealing
Is
with
it almost like a junk food feeling?
it's like a junk food. It's dealing with the
Okay.
insulin changes in your body, right? And that's what you're trying to balance out right now. And you got to understand that if you move towards the complex carbohydrates, they're going to help balance those things out.
Oh, okay.
Okay, get something if you want carbs. Hammer a bowl of oatmeal. It's got the beta glucan. It'll help all the digestive
Yeah, I
tract
just,
going on
I
in
just
there.
bought some like superfood. Probably the marketing got me, but it had
Yeah.
like dried apples and stuff like that.
Oh,
in it.
muselli.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know if I'm saying that right.
freaking. It was bomb.
Yeah, and there
So
you go.
that's what I
That'll-
need, yeah.
That'll give you all that stuff, right?
Mm,
Stay away from the simple stuff.
yeah,
The white deaths, I like to call them.
yeah. The white. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Can we-
Did you see my vegetarian
Chili?
Chili.
I did.
Dude,
Very impressed.
So good.
Very impressed.
So good.
You don't need no meat.
No,
You can eat that
at
shit-
all.
eat
It
that
actually
shit all
tastes
day
better,
long.
I think.
I would eat it with 2 spoons.
Yeah.
Who uses 1 spoon?
I know.
I want to get in my body as
I
fast
need to
as
double
possible.
fist.
Yeah, you get a double fist.
Oh, okay, there we go.
All right, we're back into reincarnation.
Reincarnation, and Dr. Stevenson would not want a double fist reference.
No. How dare you?
I know, this is an old school dude. If you look him up online, he is what you think. To me, he looks like a 1953
Oh,
fundamentalist pastor.
he does. And little do you know, he's on the total ass end of fundamentalism.
Yeah, but if you look at him, he's got like the pants pulled up, the pleated. He's got the
You know,
the
with
wool.
real high belt and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. You know and then he's got like the white
And the
dress
tie, the
shirt.
tie really comes
Dude,
out to
heavy
like
start shirt.
oh man, like dude, how do you even move in that?
Does he have the white pocket square?
No, yeah,
He's
it's
gotta
got
have
the
that,
protector
yeah.
in
I
there
mean,
with
you
the
got
pens
the
and shit.
Why didn't you do a? Dude, you should.
I carry
rock
pencils.
You should rock a pocket square.
I
I think you could pull that off
think I probably
with
could.
like a higher density living pattern.
Oh, we got to do that. I like
Would
that.
that be awesome?
Get the chakra
Okay,
colors on that shit.
this show has digressed.
I apologize, everyone.
for
Yeah.
15 minutes when we're supposed to be getting into serious studies.
Can we talk about the children, please, in this study?
We're
Various
gonna-
cases.
We are not an organization that talks about the children. We're not going to go there.
Can we talk about the children, please?
Oh, we could go so many places right
Oh.
now. We're getting so much trouble.
I told you we're in a dark place right now.
We are, yeah. There is an organization that
Yeah.
a religious. What was the guy that like helped Jerry's kids? Remember that? That was Jerry Lee Lewis. He's passed away a long time
He's
ago.
dead.
Right?
He died.
Yeah.
He died a
He was
while
a funny
ago.
comedian, yeah. Because he kind of brought all that slapstick stuff.
Yeah.
In there, but he was always doing those. Help the kids.
Well, that's what we got to do, man.
That's cool.
Help
yeah.
the least of us, right?
Yeah,
the innocent.
exactly. That's what Jesus said. That was one of the things that he said. Help the.
That's what we
you
gotta
have to
do.
help The least.
Because at the end of the day.
Don't use my line. Bro.
Yeah, I'm sorry. All right, come on.
God
Let's
damn
go.
it.
Let's go.
Now I'm pissed.
Yeah, now he's upset.
Okay, Dr. Stevenson, here we go.
Figure it out in
One
the
of
next
the
life,
books that
Jason.
I like that he wrote. I need to focus here. My ADD's kicking in with these simple carbs. One of the 14 books that he wrote was Where Reincarnation and Biology Intersect.
So he was dealing with the birthmarks, right?
Right, and this is a multi-volume work.
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were that many cases. He had over 3,000 cases, right? And people are always pleading for evidence. Well, this guy has shown from a huge fact that, well, let's look at these characteristics of what's happening with these children, right? And their past life stories and see if they actually line up with something, right? So what do we have here? Can we give some examples?
Yeah, he talked about during his original research that there were various cases involving children's memories of past life. Like he would ask children and they would bring it up,
Right.
and talk about it. And then what was interesting is when he began to get into these birthmarks, and these were he called them lasting birthmarks, and they were related to the murder or the death that they had suffered in a previous life, because they would bring that up
Right.
and talk about that. So Stevenson's research into birthmarks and congenital defects had such particular importance for the demonstration of reincarnation, because what it did was it showed in his works, he said it showed graphic proof of reincarnation.
Well, and that's the most
And I
important part.
want to make that brief there.
Right, because reincarnation is something that's very etheric, right? Because we're talking about the unification factor. We all come from the same source energy. We're all combined from that same material. And he wanted to show that it's not just that function, right? But that these cycles do actually happen. And by using birth defects or
Right.
congenital defects that actually happen in these children and their stories, and getting corroborative information from, whatever happened in the past that people have recorded, allowed him to show that these energetic signatures of the birthmarks prove that they have come back in another form, in an albeit younger form, right? In a totally different place on the globe. They might be in Sri Lanka, but maybe they had a past life in Britain, And that's the beautiful part of this, right? It's not limited to the same place. They come to different places to learn, different journeys and different experiences in a different part of life. And they carry that signature with them, right? It's almost like this faint reminder. And before parents come in and tell you that, you didn't have a past life, or someone squanders a child's imagination, well, why don't you hold on a second and listen to what that kid has to say, because they may be onto something. And if you look up the data, or you go to ancestry.com, you may in fact see that this child did live a past life, and it'd be very difficult for it to bring up this information falsely, right? Just out of nowhere.
Yeah, and he said that 30 to 60% of the deformities, you can be saying that they're birth defects, which were related to like genetic factors, or you have virus infection or chemical causes,
Right.
Certain medicines that they were giving back in the day. But what I would thought that was mostly interesting is that he began to give an explanation of why these people were born with these deformities, and then why they appear precisely in the part of their body and not in another.
Right.
And I think that's really important.
So if you're going to have a genetic defect, why is it in the exact spot that this person had some sort of past life experience in, right? Why isn't it I didn't have the genetic deformity on my stomach, but I ended up having it on my face? Well, you were shot in the face in a past life. That's how you died in war or something like that, right? Some sort of that function, right? But the genetic effect could have shown up anywhere on the entire body in the nature of whatever the congenital disease might be. But it's funny that it shows up in the same point from a corroborative piece of information that happened in a past event, which is occurring in the now, that energetic signature that the person rebirthed themselves with has now put it in that same exact spot. And that's what's really interesting. It could be anywhere.
Yeah, and he got into these 5 common characteristics, and he went all over the globe. And
what
studied.
are the 5?
And what I thought was interesting is he went to the Indian tribes in Alaska, and he went to the Tibetans, 2 different geographically. I mean, where are we at there?
Those are like polar opposites of the globe.
And this is what he found out with them. This is going to blow your mind, and I want you to
Go ahead,
talk about
blow
this.
my mind, yeah.
Explicit now. But you've got that big jug of water, so he's got a glass jug.
I got
it looks like a growler, but it's all structured water. Right?
Yeah, didn't we talk about this in our water episode, crystals?
Yes.
Yeah, go back and listen to that.
So these Indian tribes in Alaska and the Tibetans, and this was saying they believed in reincarnation. Then they believed in it so much that they expressed a wish to be reborn or one partner of a couple.
So they wanted to be reborn with that same person they spent their life with.
Yes.
So if you're in a good relationship, right?
Right.
I would hope that in the next life,
right,
I continue to be reborn with Amanda.
Really?
Yeah. Why the hell not? We're having a great time right now, right?
Yeah, why? But don't you want to experience like another woman? Like,
no, but we're
hotter. That looks cooler.
No, because that's the physical thing, man. I'm not
like some Egyptian. No, maybe it's like a hybrid alien.
Ooh. Oh, maybe Amanda's on the out for the next life.
I knew
you got me.
I knew I
you got me, man. Oh, they listen, and they
your sister,
the good old fashioned grapevine, you know.
And she will be like, Alex would give you up for a hybrid.
Yeah, you do not stand a chance against the hybrids. Yeah,
I would just imagine. Let's not get into that.
No, but from my standpoint of how I view the world and the universe, Amanda and I are on a spiritual journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
So our energetic learning is different than just the physical experience, right? It's beyond that. I don't have to have another physical form. It's just that energetic signature is something that we continue to learn from one another with. And so if I can perpetuate something like that, if we can wish to have that happen, if we were Inuit, up in Alaska, or we're Tibetans, in the Himalayas, then so be it, man. Like, go for that prayer. Keep pushing it forward. Like, why not?
Yeah, and it was interesting. One of the second things that he came up with was in Burma, and they would have these prophetic dreams. And we had a whole 2 episodes of dreams. And someone who had died appears to a pregnant or not as yet pregnant woman and tells her that he or she will be reborn to her.
That is nuts.
Think about that.
Wait, read that one more time slowly. So someone who has died
appears to a pregnant or not as yet pregnant woman and tells her that he or she will be reborn to her.
So someone who's died comes to a pregnant or non-pregnant person and saying, I am going to be the baby that is going to be inside of you. Do you know how wild that is?
And then in these tribes, sometimes relatives or friends have dreams like this and will then relate the dream to the mother to be.
Yeah. But isn't this interesting? So it's not just one culture, Jason. This is a global phenomenon that is backed by fact and characteristic of scientific study of over 3,000 cases that this continues to happen. Doesn't matter what religion, what tribe, geographically where you are, or what time, they're all sharing these same characteristics. Yes. So what else do we have? What are the next ones?
No, the third one is, in these cultures, the body of a newborn child is checked for recognizable marks to establish whether the deceased person they had once known has been reborn to them.
Wow. So the people in the tribe are like, okay, we know how this guy died, so they're going to go through and they're going to check this child from head to toe to see what energetic signature has then moved over so they can find some sort of proof within the tribe that this actually happened.
Yeah, and so they would search for marks and indication. Not only is it common among the cultures that we talked about earlier, but one of the tribes would do this consistently with every child. It was like an Igbos tribe in Nigeria.
Correct.
So think about that. We have West Africa. We have the Tibetans.
Yes.
We have
Inuits in Alaska.
I mean, literally.
People from Burma.
Yeah.
right?
As we're looking, we're all across the globe. And this is interesting too. On the fourth common characteristic that he found, the most frequently occurring event or common denominator relating to rebirth is probably that of a child remembering a past life.
That's the most common thing, is that when the child comes into this incarnation, right, it remembers what happened. This is before like this veil of forgetting comes into place, before someone, you know, puts a programming into that child's mind of how the world is or how it operates. This child is innocently remembering the energy of that past life. It's carrying that forward.
And he said you have to ask them between the ages of 2 and 4, because after that, up into the age 7, it starts to dwindle, and then after the age of
because
7.
they're not taught to continue to focus on it.
So if you know someone that's 2, 3, or 4,
Talk to them.
talk to them.
DM us on some of those stories. Ask the child.
If you've got like a 2-year-old at home or a 3-year-old at home, ask them.
Yeah, ask them what's going on. So
Let's see what happens there.
what were you in a past life? And then the kid starts to think. The kid's like, wait, what's a past life? What were you before this? You know what I mean? I bet you're going to get some interesting feedback from these kids.
Yeah, and so when because he talked to over 3,000, he said that most of the children talk about their previous identity with great intensity and feeling.
So-
Often they cannot decide for themselves which world is real and which one is not.
It was such
That's so good.
it's such an emotional experience, because that energy that we're talking about, that unity consciousness that lives on forever, you know, that higher self, that soul, that spirit, has so much emotional energy, the signature of it packed into it. It's so real and so vibrant, like a dream, right? That it is difficult to discern, right? Because remember how you wake up from a dream and maybe it was you had a nightmare and it leaves that impact on you? Well, imagine having another life that left so much of an impact that you've carried it forward into this one.
But think about it. What is real anyways? I mean,
Well, what does that
the
tell?
reality, that 2-year-old that's sitting there expressing their past life is just as real as us sitting in this room now.
Yeah, but what is the thing that is
And
real?
it's just as real as that dream that you had last night about me.
I told you not to bring that up.
We
I
had a
recorded
lot
that in
about-
my dream journal, but it's personal.
You know, I went. So can I make a confession right now? I went on this trip,
Easy now.
and yeah, no, this will be fine, even though you're barefoot.
Yeah.
You're precisely just about naked. Alex.
Yeah, practically naked at
You're in, like, a
99.9 the
suit.
beat. Yeah,
If you take your pants off and leave the suit jacket on, we're in trouble.
yeah, definitely. It
With
would
that-
it
with
would
that
feel more normal.
growler.
It would feel way more normal for me.
You're like, he's got like the little glass handle on, and he's swinging it around like he's such white privilege. You can't be barefooted and swirl a growler.
No.
It doesn't work. So I didn't record my dreams while I was gone on my vacation, and I don't know why. I just like totally forgot. I think I was just so stressed out in the moment. And we talked about that when I was over here. I was like, you know, I was put into positions where I had extreme stress, and I began to focus so on the moment, not in a good way.
You weren't focusing on the moment. You're focusing on the future, because that's what stress is.
Mm.
Don't make a
I
hypocritical.
wasn't focused
Don't
on the
make a
moment.
hypocritical statement.
No, I'm bringing it out now.
Yeah,
In front of everyone,
good.
all of our listeners, because I was put into a new situation, felt stressed through it. And then in that moment, I was like what you just said, I was thinking about what would happen in the future in that situation,
Right.
that I was not in the present.
No.
So there are people right now that just got a new job. There's people right now that are in a brand new relationship. Maybe just moved to a different city.
Got fired from a job.
They got fired from a job, experienced loss, their family members or whatever, and they're like at a 10 for stress level
Right.
right now. You know, I mean, I was probably at a 5, let's say, you know, but they're at a 10. How do you, and then, you know, recognizing reincarnation, recognize our past lives, recognizing that we've gone through this before. How do we tap into that higher conscious level and tap into infinity to
Here we
get
go.
past that
Now.
future that we're looking at now, to understand, I'm bridging right now,
Thank you.
to understand what the reality that is happening to us in this moment.
You're talking about repurposing a moment, a catalyst for change, in a different sort of lens, so that it becomes something positive to teach you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, oh, this is so negative. This sucks. My life is an absolute torment, right?
I lost my job.
Lost my
I lost
job.
my girlfriend.
All these things.
I moved to a different place, and I'm a dishwasher in New Orleans.
That's okay.
I mean, New Orleans is fine.
No, but that's fine. But the thing is, don't put it in a lens of something being bad. Do not judge what is happening. It's just energy in the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you need to do is you need to recognize that moment, understand that you are an infinite being, okay? That you've come to this life to learn a lesson. So if you're a dishwasher here or you're a Fortune 500 CEO, there's no difference between both of
No.
you. You're each just living two different experiences to learn two different lessons for your higher self.
Right.
You might have been
That's so good.
You might have been a king or who, it doesn't matter who it was in a past life, and you're
Right.
a dishwasher now.
Right.
It just shows you the universe does not care, right? It doesn't care about
It's
that.
not looking at status.
It doesn't care about status. It doesn't
'Cause
care
those
about
are
attachment.
Social constructs that we've put.
Right.
You know, a dishwasher 2,000 years ago could have been a total different. We all know occupations that were, like beekeeping was an amazing occupation, and
Cool.
it was, it's cool now.
Beekeeping's cool.
But to be a Mason, I'm not talking Masonic Lodge and all that stuff, but when you look at, how many years did they take where they were apprentice?
Yeah, to learn
to
how to
learn.
cut stone or understand the geometry, like all these different things, right?
And how important that is. I was talking to a president of the company that I was at, and he lived in Germany for a while. Speaking about Deezer.
Deezer.
But he lived in Germany for a while, and he goes, they have these certifications where you become a master of something, like a master automotive technician for
Correct, yeah.
Audi or BMW. And people would brag about that in a good way. Like, they had gone through and worked so hard.
That
and
experience of
became-
learning.
And, here in the United States, it's like, you're a lawyer, you're a stockbroker, you're, we don't look at it and say, you're a preschool teacher. Wow. But
No,
you're a
you
CEO of a Fortune 500 company.
Ooh,
Damn.
Yeah, no. The
But
preschool
who has
teacher.
the most influence?
Yeah, who really does? It'd be the preschool teacher over the children. Because
Yes.
they're going to determine what happens with that CEO later on in
And
life.
if you're a preschool teacher,
Yeah.
ask those kids about
Ask
their
them,
previous lives.
ask them about their previous
That'll
lives.
be interesting.
Don't
You
be
got
shy.
30 of them.
But you would ask, how does reincarnation change our perspective of how we deal with these things that we perceive as problems?
Right.
Right?
Mm.
It's a journey of learning, right? So take these catalysts, understand that reincarnation, you're going to come back. So are you going to learn the lesson now? Or are you going to bury yourself in these issues and then say that I'm a lesser person in society? Am I going to create the other? Am I going to fight the truth of quantum mechanics and unity and my higher self and our collective consciousness that all is one, right? And say that I'm a lesser? No, that's not true.
But that's what we do when we get stressed out. We start feeling sorry for ourselves, and we say that we're lesser.
Right, and then you start binding yourself by
Less
time.
than.
Yeah, time's not real. So you're going to live in that illusion. And then you're going to live in the illusion that you're less than somebody else. And then you're also going to live in an illusion that you're not going to come around to get another chance at this. You're given opportunities to learn and evolve spiritually, right?
And everything that has happened around you, whether you lost a job, whether you lost a relationship, whether you lost a loved one, those are opportunities.
They're not negative at all. There's nothing negative about it. That is a lens you put on it, right? They are opportunities for growth always. It's a catalyst for evolutionary change within yourself. Are you
To
willing
grow to what?
to grow to a higher density form, right? To a more enlightened form.
And when I look at reincarnation, how can I look at that when I'm going through this horrific situation in my life?
Because understand that this is a difficult lesson to learn, and it's an important one that you were supposed to learn in this incarnated period.
There could be an actual lesson that you were supposed to learn 2 or 3 times. You didn't. You went through different, and correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're on it.
And then now you have this opportunity to learn this.
Yeah.
And you could just be like, fuck it, I'm done. And then you're gonna go into another life and then have to try to learn that lesson all over again.
All over
or
again.
You can stop it right now.
You stop that cycle, and you move into a total new realm, right? We move up the octave on the piano. That's what we talked about, right? We're going to do a higher, more refined keys. We go from just playing dark keys on the left-hand side of the keyboard to Beethoven up on the top right. You know what I'm talking about? That make your life become more of a symphony by taking all these different catalysts of experience, all these different sounds, these energetic signatures, and understanding that you are going to live on forever, that you're a limitless being, right? And how do you want to evolve?
But we as a society have these issues that we together collectively, like let's use, we were talking with Byron earlier about that in our last podcast. Let's use racism for an example. We have an opportunity. How many lives have been passed through?
Oh,
I mean, even look at empirical societies, look at the Western civilization. I mean, we could literally go through, look at what do you call it? Where like England was the colonization.
yeah, we got
and then the
imperialism,
lesser than-
colonization. You have the what was the I don't know. It starts with a P. You got people over in like England, and they're
Right.
underneath the king, like all that other
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Why can't I
It's
not
like-
think of the word?
Yeah, I mean,
Doesn't matter.
yeah, but I mean, you have like even in India, you have where you have widow burning, and then you have what do they call that with different classes?
That it doesn't matter what it's called. It's classes.
Right.
Right.
But we have an opportunity right now
Yes.
where we've become a society, and I think all around the world.
Very
a lo- a
interconnected
lot of-
society. Thank you to the web.
Yeah, thanks to the web, where this thing called racism, we have the ability in our lifetime to end that.
Yes, you do.
We do.
You have the ability.
I believe that.
You have the ability to look at a higher form of life and respect and understand that there is no difference between any of us. You are just saying that someone is the other when quantum mechanics and nature is totally against you on it, and you're never going to beat nature.
But collectively, I mean, we talk about individuals, but collectively, when we look at higher conscious, as a society in this planet, we could take this topic of that has been deeply rooted for tens of thousands of years
Correct.
since mankind has been. We literally have the opportunity in, I believe, Alex, in our lifetime, before you and I pass away, to, as a whole, it's not going to, you can never end a problem
No,
solely,
but the vast
but
majority.
mass majority of people look at someone not off the basis of their skin color,
We have a choice now.
because we are starting to do that.
Yeah, we've become ultimately more complex, right? We're very complex creatures. But it's also created a larger state of confusion for our consciousness, right?
Right.
So we need to maintain our complexity, but simplify our consciousness and how we view things, right? Understand the unification of these things and move more with nature. We have the choice to do it. So the question is, are you willing to make that choice? And if you don't want to make it now, you're just going to have to do it later. So why prolong something that you're going to be forced to face sometime in the future?
You're going to face it.
You're going to keep pushing it back? It's like what you do at work. I'm going to push that problem back. What happens when you procrastinate?
I always picture myself when I was a little kid and I went to the ocean.
Yeah.
Those waves keep coming at you.
They
I don't
won't
care how many
stop.
times you fall down.
Mother Nature won't stop.
Yeah.
She will just send wave
And
after
then,
wave
and then
after
it goes
wave.
in your nose, and yeah.
Only until you succumb to the wave and you move with the wave
Mm-hmm.
will you then be able to overcome that cycle that you were trying to fight, right? Make the choice. And that's either as a collective thing we want to do or by ourselves. And understand this, Jason. If one person, after listening to this, decides to, overlook racism, that is a greater fact of the entire whole, because we are all pieces of the whole and a whole of the entire piece, if that makes any sense, right? We're all but fractals, holograms of the greater picture. So as one person changes, it does change the collective consciousness of everyone else. But as everyone begins to change, that just means we've accelerated the rate, the catalyst of opportunity for evolutionary growth of our souls to happen at a much quicker rate. So the question is, do you make that choice now? Or do you continue to fight nature and beat the shit out of yourself and come back time after time after time after time again, because time is endless?
Mm-hmm.
The universe is endless.
Yes.
Okay.
You're fighting what?
And you're fighting what? The water? When's the last time you go punch the water? Who's going to win? You'll die of exhaustion
So
every
fight
time.
the universe.
Yeah, go fight the universe.
So in this feeling of looking at the future, feeling stressed out, feeling less than when I was on this trip, and then questioning, you look at that and you say, I have a lesson to learn here. And what lesson can I learn?
Right. It's not negative.
Now, to get out of the emotion part and to become self-aware enough to be able to ask that question.
That's badass.
There's something I read in a book recently, and I've been doing this, and it's awesome. And I encourage everybody to do this. Whenever I have a negative thought, I just say cancel.
Ooh.
Somebody said that in a book, and I was
Cool,
like,
man.
and I was like, that's really cool. It's very simple. So like, and you don't, now I'm just like, it's catching on. And you'll be surprised how many times you say cancel.
Yeah. It's like I'm constantly hitting the delete key. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was like, so this morning I woke up, I'm in the showering, and I had like affirmations I was doing, then my brain went negative. I was like, cancel. So I'm like thinking good things, showering, whatever. And then I'm like, cancel. And I'm like, okay, Jason, you need to focus. So I'm like, focus, cancel.
I was like, should I shower this morning? Cancel.
I mean, how many thoughts do we have a day?
So many.
I think it's like 40,000 or something like that, they said.
I believe it.
Yeah. How many of those are negative in your life?
Oh my gosh. Could you imagine
how
that
many
ratio?
cancels would you be saying?
You'd be canceling all day long. You have an auto cancel button,
So when we look at reincarnation, we look at higher conscious. We look at this ability that we have to be able to learn these lessons in our life. We look at the opportunities where we can say cancel. It gives me like this such liberty and such freedom.
Do you feel these?
Because I have the ability to change something that may have happened for thousands of years.
That's exactly right, man. You're
Dude,
changing
think
that
about
cycle.
that.
It's liberating.
Yes.
You
There's like mass hope.
You start to regain the focus on you, that you have always had that power, and that you gave it up to who or what, for what reason?
To that moment.
To that moment. It makes no sense.
Yes.
You've given all this stuff up, these great things that truly make the beauty of who you are, and you've given it up for nothing so you can beat yourself up. Just focus on what it is, liberate yourself from these cycles of these past things, these traumas, this karmic weight, this debt that you built up, and start to put some credit back into your life.
And you know, it's interesting with this doctor, Ian Stevenson, he began to look at people, especially in India, where he would talk to these children, and they were, in their previous lives, they were at a higher level.
Yeah.
And then they would get born into a lower class, and they felt uncomfortable. He got into, this is kind of controversial, but he got into homosexuality. And he got into that these children maybe were born, you know, their past life they were a girl, extremely feminine, and then they're born as a man, and they have that questioning. You know, and that's such a great explanation, you know, because I know you and I or anybody, we're not going to judge any of that, your sexual preferences. But
Okay, I don't give a shit.
what if you were for 30 lifetimes were a woman, then all of a sudden you're
come back as a
to
guy?
man.
You're like, whoa! I've been having all this female energy, and now I'm here as a dude.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Now I have this masculine energy I have to deal with, right? And it's interesting. But what is Ian doing though? Jason, when I start to look at people now, and you know, if you've listened to all of our podcasts, you've understand this, our perspective when I say this, is I don't look at people in the physical form anymore.
No.
This is not some sort of like hallucination or hysteria that I have. I begin to understand that people are infinite beings, and so I start to look at the energetic signature of people, not their physical form. I start to look past the physical body. That's not important to me anymore. How does this person make me feel? What is it that they're sharing? What is it that them and other them are co-creating with me? What is it in our consciousness that we're combining to do a better thing for this world?
Good.
Right? And so Ian is sharing the same thing. He's no longer looking at people in the physical form. He's starting to look at people. It's like, what is your energetic signature? What is that higher self that you've carried through? That's what he's interested in looking at.
Yeah, and he looked into, it was interesting too, he looked into a lot of people that had drowned in their past lives and how they had phobias of water. But what I love what he said here is, until now, all these human oddities have been a mystery to conventional psychiatrists.
Right. But
It's
he's
explained.
But he found
It's
the
explained
he
now.
just freaking explained. He put the golden thread together to show you that. Listen, guys, because reincarnation's a thing, all of our issues, the duality in life, all of our paradoxes are solved.
And he said, you don't stop blaming yourself as a parent with your child. So your child likes to wear high heel shoes, and he's a guy, and he loves your makeup. And
Who
he
gives a
loves-
shit?
Yeah, stop blaming.
This
Why-
is-
I actually had a mom like, I need to make him more manly.
No, you don't. Let them just accept them for who they are and understand that this is the life and the energetic signature, the lessons they want to learn in this life. They'll have many more to do many other different things, all right? It's just what you deem that's how the child should live in the world.
And
Come
that's
on.
what he said in these studies. This is 1960s. He said, we want to blame it on hormones.
No.
And we want to blame it on all these biological things.
No, it's lessons that the soul wants to learn. So it will choose these different forms and these paths that it wants to go through, you know? These different signatures within itself.
But, I mean, think about that.
Think about how...
All these oddities that we have in the human race.
Yeah.
And then we've made religions against them. We've made political points.
We've put people in boxes.
Yeah, we've imprisoned people because of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've done everything to eliminate these oddities.
You've created those people and you've said that they're the other, right? That you've disconnected yourself from them, when in truth, everybody is a higher vibrational being, a higher self that has come here in this physical form, but only a select few of us will say that these people are the other and they're lesser than us, when truly you all come from the same even ground. That's the crazy part about it.
Yeah, and it was interesting to me when we looked at his study, and because he looked at people that actually that believed in reincarnation.
Yep.
You know, their families they did. And then those questions were asked of them, and they had so much more clarity.
Because you want to know why? Because they're more open to it.
Right.
Right? It's it becomes very difficult to adopt something that someone has told you your entire life is untrue, right? like somebody, if someone were to come out and be like, listen, we have technology for anti-gravity, they'd be like, bullshit. Physics tell me that you can't do that, but you're telling me you can do something that defies it? People have a hard time reconciling things that are against the programming that they've been given their entire lives for what someone told them was the truth, when in truth it was the illusion that they were living.
But how many, even on this, in the scientific aspects of things, how many illusions did we have through mankind that we turned around and broke?
Oh my gosh.
Or something that we've learned and then we're like, no.
Wait a minute, that wasn't true. How many times have we done that? Think about eugenics.
Yes.
Harvard University. How do you like that, Harvard? Bang. You know what I mean? And I encourage people to look that up on the internet. They'd be they'd be pleasantly
type in
surprised.
eugenics in the 1920s.
Yeah, eugenics.
Early 1900s.
Eugenics, Harvard University study. You guys will really like that. But Jason, people are like, this is true, this is true, this is true. Someone comes with a new study. Oh shit, none of that stuff was true. Now we got something else to follow, right? But now we found that there's a higher form of truth here.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, people continue to fight this day in and day out. And they're so obsessed with evidence.
There's a question. So, because this is what I had to do, Alex, when I began to explore the spiritual journey. When I started to fight something, I had to ask the question, why?
Why are you fighting it? And this is
you know what it
important.
comes back to? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're not. I'm interrupting you.
It's the religious dogma that I have built inside of me from when I was a child.
Or even cultural dogma.
Yeah, or culture dogma.
Yeah.
But it always goes back to that.
Family dogma, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so an important thing that our listeners need to do in higher density living is something that we teach, is continually ask yourself why. What is the reason for it? And then you begin to debase all these fallacies and illusions, these perspectives of reality that you have, to realize that they don't need to be there, that they aren't the highest truth. And then as you begin to refine these things, these thoughts that you have, you begin to see that, wait a minute, reincarnation makes sense. It logically makes sense. It intuitively feels better for my body, right?
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't eat this food, right? Because it doesn't work well. This evidence does not sit well. Always ask why. Why am I fearful of this? What is causing that stress? Why do I feel stressed? If you keep moving through that cycle, you start to get rid of those things that aren't you, and you find out the true self of who you are.
And that's not for us to tell you.
No.
And when you listen to our podcast and you're looking for bullet points to do,
No.
that's not what we want.
It's not what it's about.
It's not like, oh, okay, let's follow higher density living, and Alex says to do this, do this, do this, so I need to do this, this, this.
No. Because every single person is different. We all have our own journey. When I went to school, I learned different than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And they were giving me bullet points on how I should do things. That didn't work for me. That's not how I like to learn. So what you got to do is you have to take this information, and then you have to study and learn the best way for yourself. We're just giving you options on how these things do happen, right? And we give you tools to look through it, but we're not going to give you the step-by-step procedure. Because maybe you have to go left 40 different times before you can go right, okay? Maybe you have to take this path before you can go over here.
And those 40 times left brings you to a clear explanation of the right.
Right.
And you needed those 40, and it wasn't bad.
And sometimes you do have to take...
It's not wrong.
There's no bulletproof, like, train rail straight path you have to go on.
And anybody that gives you a bulletproof straight path that you have to get on their train and follow this for you to be successful or for you to be right or for you to go to heaven, it's not...
It's crap.
Yeah.
It's just crap. You want to know why? Nature, think about a meteorite. It doesn't come in a straight line. It comes in at an arc.
Yes.
What in nature goes in a perfectly straight line? Nothing. Stop fighting nature and understand that if something is a bulletproof straight path, don't follow it. Embrace the curves and the certain nuances of who you are in your own journey and how you study and learn. And ask why, because why will teach you down that weaving, slaloming path that will eventually define the truths of who you really are.
And when you began to walk this journey,
on the cliff's
when you
edge.
begin going to the cliff's edge,
Yeah.
things are going to happen in your life that are unexplainable.
Yeah.
You're going to have people that come into your life that are going to show you that there were past lives. You're going to have things that are going to happen to you. We call it synchronicity. That's going to show proof because the universe is dying to make itself known to you.
And you've just been blocking it out the entire time.
Because the highest, we're vibratory beings, and
Yes,
the
we are.
highest vibration that we can have is love.
And love is understanding.
Yes.
And understanding comes through a just pure, unadulterated, non-judgment observance. So observe the things that happen and come to you. Let them freely flow to you. Do not fight the things that are coming to you, because if you're fighting nature, you are fighting yourself. To do that just means you're shortening this temporal life, and you're just going to have to learn this lesson in another one.
And I was getting pounded by the waves.
Yep.
Because you cannot fight the highest vibration of the universe.
No, you cannot.
Stop fighting love.
Stop fighting love.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Embrace the light.
So we have someone that's there right now, and they are, we're going to close in this, Alex. I want you to close it out. They're sitting there. They say, okay, I get this. I get it all. I'm still kind of skeptical. Reincarnation's religious. I get the whole understanding of not fighting love. But what can I do right now? I'm sitting here and I feel like shit.
Yeah.
You know, I've gone through this issue, whatever it is, a breakup in a relationship, because we get a lot of DMs on that. I'm feeling suicidal. We've been getting a lot of DMs. We're working on that. We're going to do a Q&A on that.
Yeah.
But they feel hopeless, because that's what it all boils down to.
Yeah.
What is this thing that they can do right now that can move them on this spiritual journey to get near that edge?
If you want to move to the edge, understanding that everything that makes up who you are comes from this infinity, this limitless place. And you've brought it all down into this physical vessel. Just the sheer phenomenon of that happening by itself is a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Understand that you're a miracle. Understand that you are an infinite being having a physical incarnation right now, a physical experience, and that you will continue to live on past this. So your lack of hope that you have right now, understand that that is just a false illusion. Understand that this is just a catalyst for change that will hopefully drive you to embrace who you truly are, the fact that you are an infinite being, that you are connected to absolutely everyone else. And that's what you need to do. That is a step you need to take. You need to ask yourself why, and you need to begin to respect and love yourself for who you are.
And that right there, that truth and that feeling that you're feeling right now, it's giving you an opportunity to see who you truly are.
So be grateful for that opportunity, thank it, and move forward into that new cycle.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Alex.
Thank you, Jason.
That was an awesome episode.